Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Oldbarn Homestead. Gary coming to you here on Saturday morning. If you're watching this as a replay, this is a live video. I'm going to try to keep the distractions to a minimum, but part of it being a live video is me interacting with the people while it's live. So if you're watching it on the replay, you kind of have to deal with that. But I'm going to try to minimize that. I did bring my laptop out so that I can just wait until the end and go back and look at the comments and see what see what people are saying and respond to the comments, and then end the video. And that way, if you're watching it on the replay, you don't have to see me stop and interact too much throughout the video. I can just get the video going and get it over with. So I see we got 3 people on. Good morning, guys. We'll get going here in a second. Okay, so hey Tom. Anyway, I was just explaining to people, if you just joined, I'm going to try to mix these live streams up. I'm getting kind of mixed comments about it, and hey, how's it going, man? Anyway, so there's some advantages to it for me. There's advantages to it from a YouTube point of view, because you kind of get, while the video's live, it can potentially attract new viewers to your channel. Hey, good morning, Stephen Lang, Shark River Machine. And it's easier for me because, for the creator, because you just make it, it's live. It's uploading while the video is happening, and when it's over, it's already uploaded. I can just get to work. MP Custom Blades, what's up? Anyway, so it's Saturday morning here. I don't know what all you guys do on Saturday mornings, but I've got some stuff I've got to get finished up and prepped and packed to go ship, so I'm gonna do that. And my shop has gotten kind of out of hand this week, so I'm gonna just do some organization and cleaning things up. I've found that yeah, hey, the gang's all here. Looking at Tom Zelikman running parts, yeah. So I'm sure everybody's got their thing going on. It's 35 degrees in Texas here on this Saturday morning. So, and I think this is the first day I've worn jeans. So, anyway, I see Eddie there commenting. Yeah, I definitely am going to do what's best for me, but at the same time, I make these videos for you guys, and if the way I'm making them doesn't really work that well for you, or you don't like it or whatever, then it's no big deal. I can change it. I say I'm making them for you. Of course, I get a lot of benefit out of them as well. The interaction, I live here in the shop. I live alone. I work alone. I'm by myself a lot, and most of the time, in fact. So in theory, that seems kind of good if you get tired of the world and you get tired of people in corporate America and just politics and the BS that goes on in the world. It's got a lot of good things about it, but we're all humans and we need to be around other people. So yeah, and Tom, I know what you mean. It's sometimes if you're just sitting around at your computer, I watch other people's live streams too when I'm, you know, working on videos or responding to comments or emails or just browsing YouTube. Sometimes I'll put a live play on and, you know, sort of watch that or listen to it while I'm doing other stuff. And but anyway, you know, the point I was trying to make was that I make these videos, you know, mostly for you guys, and if there's ways I can improve them and do better, you know, I'll certainly do that. I mean, the real purpose of this channel was just, it is more of a vlog style channel, and you know, it's never going to be a huge channel, and I don't intend for it to be, and you know, because there's just not that many people that wants to see me talking and so forth, because I say the word a lot, like every other word is this and that. See, I try to edit a lot of that out in my regular videos. So anyway, the one thing I was gonna talk about this morning here for a little bit is just being patient and, you know, and striking a balance between and this is, you know, I think this is more of an issue when you become self-employed and you become you know, your job really becomes your hobby. Because as most of you guys know, I came from the IT world, and so when I got done doing that kind of stuff for the day, or I was traveling and out of town, I couldn't wait to get back, you know, to my garage and work on whatever project I had going, you know, whatever it was. And so it was a departure from, you know, from the day-to-day thing. Well, now I do this all day, every day, and what do I escape to? You know, it's just more of the same. So, you know, that's a little bit of an issue for me, and but I think really the key is that, you know, and the issues are sometimes it's easy to sort of gravitate off into things that don't make money, and during the normal work hours. I mean, it's real easy to do, you know, and you get something in your head and there's all these equipment and tools and materials in here, and you just go start working on stuff, and sometimes that stuff doesn't materialize. That happens a lot with me. I don't know, you guys are probably more experienced and better at it, some of you. But I have a lot of failed, you know, attempts at things and things I spend a lot of time on that don't really work out. And it's really more of the design and engineering, you know, brainstorming stuff that I'm not really that good at. I think I'm decent at seeing something and making it, or having somebody say, hey, can you make this? Here are the dimensions, here's what it needs to look like. I can do that fairly well. You know, if something needs to be repaired, I can do that pretty well. But coming up with my own ideas, you know, kind of the engineering and design part of it, I struggle with that, you know. I want to do it, and I have, you know, kind of big picture ideas about a product or something, but the small picture idea, the important part of it, which is, you know, the engineering of it and, you know, and all that. I'll just give you a good example. You know, the metal bender that I sell is, I didn't design that. That's Tom Lipton's design. I have permission from him to, you know, kind of reproduce it as a kit, and I've given him credit, and I try to give him credit anytime I can, but that wasn't my design. Now, I looked at his videos online, and he had some really difficult to read blueprints that were scans of scans, and a lot of dimensions and things were missing off of it, so you had to take a few guesses about what was what. But it wasn't my design, you know. And if I had the concept of building a metal bender, I don't know that I would come up with anything like that, you know. And not that it's anything overly complicated. Okay, the Business of Machining podcast, is that that's the John Saunders one, right? I will Okay, I'll go check that out. I'll definitely look at that. I pick up one of those every now and then. I'll listen to that, but I didn't subscribe to it on iTunes or anything, so I don't get a notification that would prompt me to go see it on a regular basis. I hear John talking about it. I have listened to it a couple of times, but so that'll be good, you know. And one of the things that now he's going to get the big head, you know, when I mention this in the video, but I've partnered up with Eco Mouse Design, who has his own YouTube channel, who is a real whiz at Adobe Illustrator, which you can take Adobe Illustrator and convert that into machinable parts, you know. But it's kind of an artistic version of CAD. What's up, Frank from Germany? Thanks for joining. And he's really good at it. He's a gifted artist and designer, you know, and but he also has a lot of practical and engineering experience to an extent about, you know, materials and what can work and what won't work, and you know, that kind of thing. So a lot of times when people ask me to make something, when it comes time to do the engineering, I just get with him, you know, and I pay him, and he's like a virtual extension of what we're doing here. So anyway, I think the the main thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was that, you know, the kind of getting lost in engineering and design mode. And I don't know if you guys think that, is that something that you're born with, or can you develop that? In other words, are there kind of two types of people? Are there builders of things that can read a blueprint and build it to spec? And are there a separate kind of person that's the creator and inventor of things? I heard somebody say recently that pretty much there isn't anything new to invent. It's all been invented so far. And I'm not here to try to invent, but when you're trying to make a product to sell, there is some element of customizing it, making it yours, you know, whatever. But you guys think that that's something that you can get better at? In other words, if you're not really good at taking an idea into an engineering concept, is that a skill you can develop over time? Or is it just going to be this way, and I just need to recognize that and you know, just recognize it and not try to force it, and just rely on other people to help with that part of it? Be curious what you think about that. So Tom Zeligman, he's an expert at all things and everything, so I'll just defer to his comment. Seriously though, I think he's right. You can nurture it. You know, there is some level of improvement, and it's probably an individual thing. You know, how much do you really want it, and how much effort will you put into it? It's like pinstriping, you know, like automotive pinstriping on bikes and things. I wanted to get into that because I think it's really cool, but I can't draw very well. I don't have a good freehand drawing. My handwriting's terrible. You know, my just ability to sketch something out on paper is just, it's awful. But I think that's something that you can get good at as well. I mean, you can improve on it. Let me say this: there are some people that are just born with that gift. They can just sit down naturally and draw anything, you know, from sight, and sketch out rough dimensions on things really quickly and easily. Their handwriting is usually pretty good. I think it's something you can get better at, you know, for sure. But can you ever do it as good as a really naturally gifted person? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. But the main thing I was going to mention to you guys this morning is somebody, I think it was Walt, left a comment on the video yesterday. I was kind of talking about working on the paint booth, and I've not made a lot of progress on it lately because I've just been busy with things in the shop. And when I say busy with things in the shop, it's not always money-making things in the shop. They're just stuff going on that I need to, you know, look at and think about and work on, and stuff to repair, and it's some jobs, you know, too, to keep things afloat. You know, and I think the key is really to have balance in all of it, and recognize that, You know, it's a persistent patience over time that'll get you where you want to be. You know, and you guys may be like me to some extent. I'm good at getting on a roll with something and kind of sticking with it, and you know, just go all in. You know, but sometimes you just can't do that. You know, you just have to make a little progress, you know, keep chipping away at it. And really the key is to not lose interest in it if you can't make a lot of progress in a short period of time. And I think it's human nature. We want that instant gratification of seeing something finished. And sometimes when you're taking on, hey Kurt, glad you joined. Sometimes when you're taking on that, a longer term project, a longer term effort, you're not going to get it. It's not going to happen overnight. You know, so how do you stick with it? How do you keep at it? You know, and because for me, once I've gone for, let's say 2-3 days in a row and haven't worked on the paint booth, I'll just come up with a reason not to work on it, you know, and keep doing other stuff in the shop here, because it's, you know, it's a momentum thing, and once you have it, it's in your favor. Once you lose it, it's a little bit hard to get it back. And especially being a one-man show by yourself, you know, I think it makes it more difficult. If you have people around you, friends, family, employees, you know, that kind of thing, you can take a little motivation from them. You know, it doesn't take much of a spark to kind of get you going on something, whatever it is that you need to be doing. And so anyway, that leads me to, you know, kind of a topic. I don't really make enough money here to justify an employee, but I don't really spend any time marketing and developing the business either, other than making YouTube videos and posting things on social media, which I do get I mean, that's the only way I do market, you know, and I get a lot of business off of videos that you guys have watched and long since forgot about. Will generate work for me. Some of them are 2-3 years old, and people see it and go, hey, I saw you made this, you know, could you make me one of those? Or, you know, could you make this or that or whatever? So those videos, you know, get a life of their own downstream. And but I'm thinking about, there's a guy that used to work at the steel yard here, and he retired, but he actually lives just a mile or two from me. And I came across him on the Nextdoor app. I don't know if you guys have the Nextdoor app in your community or not, but it's kind of a community-based social media thing. It's kind of like a neighborhood watch, or just kind of keep an eye on. And it's you can't see people that are outside your community on it. So it's kind of close-knit, you know, kind of close together thing. Anyway, he's retired. I think he's in his mid-60s, but he has a lifetime of working around steel in the steel yards, and he's had different roles over the years. So he's quite familiar with a lot of, you know, different types of materials and you know, things, a lot of structural stuff, but still it's a good familiarity. And he's also kind of an artist type of person. He does a lot of paintings and does a little bit of woodworking and that kind of thing. So so I'm gonna, you know, be getting him to help me just a day or two here or there with, you know, finishing up a couple things. But I'm just wondering if, you know, bringing him on as more of a full-time employee would allow me to do more marketing and more selling to local companies, you know, and free up a lot of the actual execution of the work, you know, and move a little bit more into a manager kind of role. But it's a tricky thing from a financial point of view, because I have exhausted, you know, all of my resources just getting the shop going and all that. And then I had one other issue that's kind of come up that I'm still battling here, that is still unbelievable to me, but it's happening, and it is what it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. You just keep going and just do what you can do. So anyway, I've had a couple of different part-time employees here, you know, helping me do things inside the shop and working on the shop itself. But I was still working in corporate America then, and I could fund it, you know, through that method. Now trying to fund it off of the work I produce here, you know, it's kind of a give and take thing. I need to, get him in and get it going for a little bit, and then really make an effort to get more business in to support him and me, you know, and the shop as well. So anyway, I think it's kind of the fun of it, you know, these topics I'm talking about. It's always, you know, what is the answer? Is there a right or wrong answer? You know, what, you know, at the end of the day, it's just going to be up to me and what I'm able to kind of push through and persevere and do with it, and where do I want to take it and how hard do I want to work at it, versus, you know, do you get caught up in the day-to-day flow of things and you just kind of, yeah, I could do that, you know, I could sell something, and it's one of those things where if you sell something, use that money to fund it for a while, and then it never really takes off, now you've just wasted a machine and some time. But I do have, I mean, there's probably a machine or two in there that, you know, like that, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can see the top of it over there, the green little milling machine over there. I could sell that, you know, it's worth at least $1,500, maybe $2,000, and that would float him for a while. And I rarely use that machine, but it is handy to have as a second op machine. You know, a lot of times when I get a small production run of something, I can set up both of the manual mills and do two, you know, two separate ops on two separate machines. And I've also wanted to think about, I want a CNC mill, I really do, and I want to get into the, you know, to the milling and lathe world, you know, kind of as the next leap from having a plasma table. I get a few jobs here and there that I've had to turn down just because I don't have it, and the guys like Tom Zelikman that I could work with on it, you know, I don't think the timing allows it. They're looking for something, you know, fairly quick within a couple of days, and when you're working with guys on YouTube, you know, it's more of an iterative process, and they've got their schedules going and what they can fit in, and you know, so if it's a longer term project that can wait a little bit, then you know, I can work with Tom's Wonderful World or Tom Zelikman or other guys out there. But I was thinking about converting that machine to a CNC machine and sort of doing a little rebuild on it as well, because it needs it, and that might be a fun project. Okay, so hey, we already got a buyer here for the little machine. It's just, you know, I worked really hard to get this thing built up, and I hate to just start. I mean, I had a guy one time that told me that you can't sell yourself to prosperity. You know, you can't, in other words, you can't cut costs to prosperity. I think it's good, you know, prudent things to do to kind of manage your costs and, you know, keep things at a good, you know, you don't want to have overly expensive costs on things. But, you know, when you start downsizing your operation, it's a kind of a grasp, you know, or a last ditch effort. At least that's how I look at it, unless you really are there. And I'm not there, you know, I'm doing okay, you know, but at some point though, you can't just float along level, which is kind of what I've been doing to an extent here for a little bit. You really need to be on a steady upward trend, working toward a bigger goal, you know. And I think John Saunders is a great example of that. It's just amazing what he's done. And not only that, I mean, for me, I had corporate America help, you know, fund this. For him, he's built it truly bootstrap, you know, and I know he had another job as well at one point, but he's been long since out of that, and he's continued to reinvest and make enough money off of his multiple ways that he makes money. It's quite an amazing feat that he's done there. I have to give him a lot of credit for that. So anyway, guys, I've been going long here. I just thought I'd talk to you guys about that point. Some good insight coming in from some of you guys. And so I'm going to get busy, get some stuff done, and I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good weekend, guys. See ya.